Hi friends, Ben back again. This time it's going to be about another important area in the motorcycle that I go about maintaining every 3 to 6 months. It's another simple maintenance procedure. If carried out on a periodic basis, you will definitely save yourself a lot of trouble, money and effort. And it just involves a bit of muscle power and a little time for you to go step by step and slow. And if you do not take care of this on a regular basis, this is going to definitely land you in trouble. You might, without further ado, let me just show you guys what I mean. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be taking care of today. These are the links, these are the dog bones, and this is the linkage system to the swing arm. And so what I'll be doing today is I'm going to be removing this system, the linkage system and the dog bones, degreasing, cleaning and applying a new layer of grease, new shot of grease inside these bearings, and then putting things back together. Me removing is not going to be a big deal. It's because I'm going to be using the regular ring spanners to crack these bolts open, nuts open, and then then we'll see how to go from there. Okay, so now this is what I've managed to pull out from my motorcycle, and this is the linkage system to the swing arm and the rear shock. Pull these out like that, and look for drying, cracking, and the roller bearings breaking. If that is not the case, if all is in good nick, well, this definitely is not in good nick. I don't know if you guys can see. The bearings are all intact. Nothing is broken off. Nothing has gone bad, but the grease definitely needs some changing. So we'll go in with a shot of WD-40 and let's see this side, how this side has fared. This side seems to be all right. Not bad at all. And as far as my spacers or the steel inserts are concerned, yeah, I can see some notching here. If you can see, there's this side is quite okay, and there's some notching that I get to see here. I will use a gentle Scotch-Brite and scuff it off, a metal Scotch-Brite, and just blend it in, and we'll see. I don't think this ought to be a problem. This is all right, not that bad. I can't feel a dent. Yeah, I definitely can't feel anything here. It's all good. So that is in good nick. Whereas this needs some serious cleaning, thorough cleaning, which I'm going to be doing now with my trusty WD-40. Okay, so this is me just using a cotton rag and then cleaning the internals of the bearing. I have gone in with a dose of WD-40, not just once, thrice, and I'm repeating this procedure, you know, until I get the roller bearings nice and dry for the new shot of grease. WD-40 and grease is not a sacrilege, it's not a crime of any sorts. But that being said, it's always good to get rid of as much of the WD-40 as you can before you go in with a shot of grease. So if you guys can see now, I don't know if the light captures this, but that's clean interiors, if you can see. I'll take pictures of these and then I'll include the same in the video. but this is how you go about doing things. A simple maintenance procedure, not much of a deal, and saves a lot of trouble. You are prone to breaking these bearings if you go off-road a lot, and if you do a lot of mud and river crossing and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of the most important of all maintenance procedures. Move the bearings and see, and if they move freely, nothing like it. But yeah, your job is to try and get it as clean as you can before you apply a coat of grease. Okay, gently scuffing the spacer just to get rid of those surface level notch marks. Have to be very careful with this. You don't want to have any kind of deep impressions happen because of your scuffing, and you only want to do it to get rid of the surface level marks. If you have deeper dents, then you're better off not scuffing. You're better off changing this component, this part, and the linkage system or the bearings, or all of it together. And this is a 320. I'll go in with a 600 later, and then I'll just polish it off. Yeah, so that's gotten rid of these small little impressions that you had seen earlier. It's become kind of smooth. The same here. I'm kind of wet sanding just so that I make it an even nicer smooth surface and don't leave any scratches behind. When you do wet sanding, or for that matter sanding, it's always a best practice to, if you want to just do a surface level sanding, then it's always best to do a circular motion. I just got the gloves ready, and so it's applying grease now to the bearings. I'm going to be packing it in nicely. The whole idea is to press this grease hard into the bearings and get it to completely get submerged and go on to the internals, the other side of the bearings. So press hard and be generous with this. There's no need to be frugal about maintenance procedures like these. Change direction and press hard. Packed with grease, and now all you need to do is just shove in the spacers and you will get all the excess out. Move the spacers in and out a couple of times until you're satisfied. So the spacers go in now, and what they bring out is the excess. You just can't do anything about this. Your job is to see to it that there is sufficient grease and not in excess. pull it out from this side, turn it round, shove it in, and see if you have excess come out from the other side. If it doesn't, then that means you have managed to find the right quantity of grease. I mean, you've managed to fill in the right quantity of grease. So move the spacer back and forth and see if it's good. Twist and turn. If it's catching anywhere, just try and see if it's catching or binding anywhere. If it isn't, you've done a pretty decent job of applying grease, and move it around and see if all is well, if things are fine, and you're good to go. Fantastic, all well. That's about it. That's all the grease that you want inside the system. Okay, so that's a done and dusted deal, all put together, nice and clean. Truckloads of grease packed in there. This fella, lithium based TIMKEN grease. Yeah, so now all that that needs to be done is for this to go back on the motorcycle and have the right tension on the bolts, torqued to the right tension. So all that I use to remove this particular component from the motorcycle is 17 ring spanner, if I could call it that, and then an extension bar that comes along with your Royal Enfield toolkit, and a 14 ring spanner to hold the 14, that is the head of the bolt on one side, like that, and with this crank the 17 nut and tighten things. So it's a simple procedure. I'll wind it up, I'll put things back on the motorcycle, and then show to you guys what I mean. So now all that needs to be done is for me to hold these bolts in place with a ring spanner like this, and maybe anchor it somewhere like that, and then go ahead and tighten on the other side. So I anchor my ring spanner to the center stand, and the bolt to the center stand, all these all three bolts, and the other side, the nuts, I crank it with these two. So that's the 17 ring spanner and an extension bar, just so that you get more leverage out of the whole thing. There you go. So that's to hold things in place, and this is to go ahead and tighten. Okay, so that's the job done. All the bolts, nuts and bolts put together. These components do have a long life. Kindly do not think of these as poor quality stuff. It's poor maintenance. That's the culprit. If you apply a good shot of grease, truckloads of grease in there, then you have nothing to worry about. So yeah, that's the job done for today. The tension on these bolts is pretty important. So I mean, I don't really know what is the Newton meters. This, whatever it is that I have done, is from experience. I have gone in and tightened it to a point where I know things are good. Of course, if you do not know, then your best bet is to tighten it sufficiently and then take it to a mechanic and have him confirm the same. That's about it. So yep, that's the job done for today. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, kindly give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.